Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Butternomics. I'm your host, Brandon Butler, founder and CEO of Butter ATL. And today, y'all, we got a special guest up in here, the homie from the east side,
Yeah,
Mr. Scotty ATL himself. Scotty, how you feeling, baby?
I'm feeling good, man. How are you?
Man, I'm happy to see you, bro. I'm telling you right
Yeah,
now, man. I saw you've had some experiences going on, man. We glad to see
yeah.
you first and foremost. As my mom always says, it's better to be seen, not viewed. And so it's good to
Mm.
see you, brother.
Okay, for sure. I like that quote too.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. Look, go ahead and
Yeah.
drop it on your next
Okay,
project.
all right, cool.
Scotty, what's been going on, man? First of all, man, how you feeling? We know you had an accident a couple months ago. You've
Right.
been healing up, man. How you feeling, first of all, bro?
I feel good mentally, spiritually. I feel good. I feel like myself. Physically, I'm still getting there. I'm not all the way 100%. My leg is still broken. But I had a stomach hernia, traumatic hernia in my stomach, and I had a broken wrist too at first. So my leg is still healing up. It's still broken up. It was shattered
Yeah,
actually. So I'm still in the wheelchair, moving around, trying to use the crutches every now and then. But for the most part, I feel good.
I love it, man. And you know, what I love about it too is even through this whole process, because again, I've been seeing it on social media and I'll be shooting you texts like, yo, bro, hope you're doing good. You know, it seems like even though this has been a tough process, like it's helped you, I don't want to say like grow and mature, but you've just,
Yeah.
start to evolve a little bit coming through this whole process, right?
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. I feel like in general, the whole process has made me enjoy and really appreciate life a lot more than I did before. And I've always been the type person that appreciate life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But this accident really put a lot of things in perspective for me on a business level, on a friendship level, on a personal level, with my kids, my family, like just so many things. It's allowed me to take it more seriously and cherish it more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. And what's interesting too is, like you said, you looking at stuff a little bit differently now. You just came out with this new project called Couch Potato. So
Right.
it's even interesting to see how you build it off of that, setback and like making it not like a comeback, but you making something out of it, right?
Right. So yeah, I recorded the whole project on my couch. It's called Couch Potato. When I got injured, man, I was in the hospital for like 2.5 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And so writing music was just so hard to do during that time. Even when I got out, I was just still trying to make sense of everything that was going on. And so I was like, you know what? When I finally got a chance to record, I started writing on the couch, in the living room, writing on the couch, crying, writing about my real experiences.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't make it to the studio, so I brought the studio to me. And it was just a dope experience. One of my homies, Joe, shout out to Joe, helping me name the project. I wanted it to be something more serious, you know what I mean? But he was like, nah, man, I think you should like have fun with it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I came up with Couch Potato. And like I said, everything was recorded on the couch. I'm loving the project. I've been getting real good feedback from it. That it's like one of my best projects that I ever dropped.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, look, we saw what happened to 2 Chainz when he was in that wheelchair for a minute. You know what I'm
For
saying?
real.
So, again, man, this could be one of those interesting inflection points. You never know exactly
Yeah.
how it's going to happen. And most importantly, though, we glad you healthy and everything. But I think, again, to see you like building something positive out this whole experience was probably the most motivational thing. Have you gotten like a lot of good feedback around that?
Yeah. I've been getting a lot of good feedback just from continuing to move forward and push forward, just in general. And I've had to adjust my mind frame because I'm so production driven. I always want to be productive every day. I still make to-do lists today, even though
Mhm.
I can't walk. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But I'm also having to realize that, you go through seasons in life. For me, this season is about inspiring people through what I'm going through.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes the measuring stick is different than it would have been before. Whereas before, I would always measure how productive I am by what I did during that day or what I was able to accomplish. But with what I'm going through now, I'm always inspiring people, even if I'm not accomplishing more than everybody is. I'm still inspiring a lot of people through what I'm going through. People seeing me in person, people seeing my spirit, my attitude, people seeing me online, different things I'm saying, different places I'm at. It's like I'm still accomplishing or still living out my purpose
Yeah.
and with what I got going on.
No, that's dope, man. So, and again, I'm sure people know, but for those that don't know, Scotty also is the owner of the world famous Grillz by Scotty.
For sure.
So Scotty, just so folks don't know, man, who were some of the amazing people that you've done Grillz for?
Megan Thee Stallion, Glorilla, the Atlanta Hawks, T.I., Big Boy, Summer Walker,
Issa Rae.
Issa Rae for sure. I should have said Issa Rae first, no cap. But yeah, that's a few people. We've done so many grills now that it's just hard to remember everybody.
Yeah, you got your location out here in Atlanta, another one in
Yup.
Beverly Hills, right?
West Hollywood.
West Hollywood, that's where it
Yeah.
is.
Yep.
So let me ask you, man, like as you've been, rebuilding everything and kind of readjusting while you've been going through this process, one of the things you talked about was kind of being away from stuff. Like how is not being able to get out to the stores as much and have to kind of work from home? What have you kind of learned in how you work on your business and how you run your business now that you've kind of had to adjust that part of your life?
So now I'm having to trust more on my team.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before I would pop up, I could be everywhere. I'm on the movie sets. Now, and it's funny because before this experience happened, I kept talking about how much I wanted to focus more on being wealthy than being rich. You
Yeah.
know. So I look at rich as just you got a lot of money.
Yeah.
When you wealthy, you have time. And so even now, I'm still trying to adjust to it, right? Because business is still able to function. I have my team or my employees that are there every day. They working, both coasts, but I still want to be there, right? This is the rich in me still wants to do the work versus allowing the team to do the work. And so in our culture, I feel like we focus or we emphasize grinding so much that we want to work until we die.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well, I might look at different culture, they out playing golf. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
they ain't worried about some of the stuff we worried about. And so I'm trying to adjust still to this day to being able to be wealthy, being able to trust the team, and then relax. I feel uncomfortable sometimes watching TV. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to do the work. That's makes me feel productive.
Yeah.
But it's been a real interesting process, just adjusting my mind, adjusting my daily activities, my schedule, and being able to be more comfortable just trusting and relying on others.
Yeah. I mean, it's that whole challenge I think a lot of entrepreneurs go through, right? Of like, do you want to work on the business or in the business?
Right.
And I think a lot of people get trapped into working in the business.
Yeah.
And the problem with that is that, when you step away or you can't do it, the business stops. So, first of all, congratulations that even when you had this experience and you weren't able to be there, things were able to keep running because you had already kind of started putting some of those things in place. Like you already started thinking about it from an ownership, a wealth standpoint, like you kind of talk about.
Sure.
Now you're getting a chance to kind of work on the business more, right? So and plus you're probably seeing stuff a little bit more like fresh eyes.
Right.
You feel like a little bit away from it. You're like, you know what? Like when I was kind of in the weeds and in it, I ain't really noticed this. But like now
Right.
that I'm kind of, 1,000 feet away, 10,000 feet up, I'm kind of seeing stuff different. Have you had that experience?
Yeah. Well, I'm now it's allowed me to focus on, like you said, working on the business a lot more.
Yeah.
So I'm working on expanding, I'm working on processes, I'm working on just making sure the overall experience is right. I think for a minute when we went, so Issa Rae came and really just broke the whole system.
Right. That's what usually happens. You know what I'm
You
saying?
know what I'm saying? When she got her grill, we had infrastructure, but I wasn't really prepared to take on a client like Issa Rae because when she posted what she did about the customer service being so great, my lines were flooded, my DMs were flooded, everything was flooded.
Mm-hmm.
So we had all these different people who came and got grills, and then we had an overload. So all of this is allowed me now to kind of, like you said, step back and work on how can I be the biggest I could possibly be for myself, not just in the grill game, but as a business in general. I don't like leaning on black business per se. I like being just a good business,
Mm-hmm.
you know? And so this has allowed me to see things in a different light. Like, okay, if I want 10 of these stores, what do I need to do different to survive and to thrive at the highest level?
Yeah. And so who do you work with, like when you're kind of going through those, when you're trying to kind of figure that stuff out, right? Do you work with, consultants? Do you have, people like mentors, people that you reach out to? Like, how do you think through what it takes to kind of go from 2 locations to 10 locations and beyond?
Man, I have a few friends
Hmm.
that I can, call at times. Me and you have had conversations about, expanding.
Sure.
Charles, who you introduced me to, you know what I mean? It's somebody that I hit up every now and then. My boy Lamont. I think
Hmm.
you know Lamont.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it's like, I don't have the biggest business circle, but then I also now I'm talking to people that Charles have linked me up with over at Rice.
Yeah.
That's
Shout out to
helping
Rice
me
J.
out.
Bailey. We just had him up in here a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Right, yeah, Invest Atlanta. So I'm connecting more with community resources. Whereas at first I wasn't necessarily doing that. I was just hustling.
Yeah.
As coming from like being the street hustler, like, man, I'm just gonna get to it. I missed out on all community resources just trying to build a business at first.
Yeah, isn't that interesting, man? Like to your point, like once you kind of get tapped in, like there's a whole different circle of just people
Right.
and conversations. A lot of times, yeah, we get so caught up in just the hustle, you don't realize like there's people out here with, it's other people's money that you can use to build this stuff. It's other people's knowledge you can use to build this stuff. Like, what's been your most surprising, things you've learned and kind of like working with some of these other people that you probably wouldn't have necessarily have tapped into on the other side?
I think one of the things that I've learned the most is that there are resources out there for anything you want to do.
Yeah,
If it's getting money, if it's just knowledge, like you're saying, being able to tap in is so powerful because from the start of it, I was doing a lot of it on my own. I was just clueless that there were even resources out there that could help me.
hmm,
But at the same time, I felt like, again, there's different seasons, that you go through in life. And so I feel like during those times, it was time for me to grind and hustle the way that I did to have something to, show or present when it was time like it is now. So I'm grateful for all of it, but I do feel like I've learned so much just from the Invest Atlantas, from the Rices, Rice specifically now, talking to them about learning how to expand properly.
yeah.
Dennis McKinley, another
Oh yeah, shout out to
person.
Dennis. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, helping me understand that like entrepreneurship is great, but managing systems is a lot better in some cases.
Yeah.
Because everybody's running and trying to be an entrepreneur when it takes so much. People don't really understand the amount of work behind entrepreneurship, creating a business, something that people actually want and need on an everyday basis. And then what you need to do after you've done all that to expand it. A lot of times we're keeping our head down working in the business and never putting our head up to see the world that is there and how to keep that business going once you've created it.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, right? Like it's, like people don't scale well, systems scale well. Like people don't fail,
Right.
what I mean? People fail, systems don't. And so putting those systems and processes in place, even on the simple stuff, right? On like an order comes in, this is how we're gonna take an order in, right? And that way it's not getting done at different time every time somebody places it and people are feeling a consistent kind of customer experience. Like there's all these little things
Right.
that, once you kind of get out the hustle mode element of business, you start thinking about, all right, now how do I really make this thing be able to replicate it,
Hmm.
be able to scale it, and most importantly, not let it stress me the hell out
Exactly.
because everybody calling me for
And
everything.
it has stressed me out,
Yeah.
at one point. There's been times in doing this that I felt like, man, I was gonna lose it all.
Hmm.
And I think that's another good lesson that I've learned is that you just gotta keep going,
Yeah.
no matter what. When I do my research on other businesses and just like successful business owners, I noticed that they've all had these glimpses where it seemed like at that time it was gonna all crash.
Hmm.
But they kept going and it ended up being more successful than they thought it was going to be. And so I try to keep that in mind too as I'm going through this process because I'm not where I want to be. I'm doing well, but I see myself as being able to really expand this beyond anything that the grill culture has ever seen.
Yeah. Well, what does that look like? Like, how do you expand this? Because again, like, grill. I mean, I would definitely say, man, like you and a couple other folks. I think when people think about grills in general,
Yeah,
you probably, in the top, couple of names that come off the top of their head, right? But like,
right.
what do you think the evolution of that kind of starts to look like over time?
I think that now we are all I've literally seen the evolution with my own eyes as I've been doing it. So I've been making grills for 10 years. I've had my own store for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
When I got into it, like the people that I saw were Paul Wall, Johnny Dane, Eddie's are two of the biggest names that I've seen in the grill industry.
Yeah.
I love Dr. Jeffries,
Mm-hmm.
right? He's an Atlanta legend, you know what I'm saying? But they took it so far, and it's really been almost every 20 years that it's been somebody different. So since I've started, I've seen companies like Nike get involved
Yeah.
with grills, Puma, like I said, the Atlanta Hawks. We've been associated with the Falcons. We've done commercials with CarMax. It's becoming a lot more acceptable in today's world, like tattoos, where at one point you couldn't have tattoos and get a good job.
Mm-hmm.
They would turn you away. You know, now you could have tattoos on your neck, your face.
Right.
It don't matter. I see people. I was at a restaurant last night. It was an old lady. She had to be 60 something. She got tattoos all on her arm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so now gold teeth are becoming more of an expression that is acceptable in the workplace too. And that's one of the ways that it has already evolved.
Yeah.
At the Olympics was another example. Issa Rae wearing it on the red carpet. So many different things that I think is going to become even more like just widely available for people.
And just, you know, man, how did you get in the grill business in the first place?
A friend of mine wanted to do grills. I was leaving the grill shop. This guy wanted me to help him out.
Mm-hmm.
Always loved to do marketing, always been involved in that kind of stuff since I was a kid. I had my first brand was Cool Club.
Yeah.
Where I had t-shirts and sweaters and hoodies that people were rocking all the time. And so I was doing tours and whatnot, going on tour. I was on tour with B.O.B., Ace Hood, Big Boy. This guy saw what I was doing. He said, man, come and check out my grill shop. I checked it out. After leaving his grill shop, I went to the strip club in the daytime. Ran into my homeboy, and he had just lost his job. He was a dental assistant. And I said, man, what you gonna do now? And he said, I want to do grills. I said, we can go up here right now. I just left this dude, and we did. And that's how I got started.
And like, what is like? But how do you But how do you start? Like, you went and talked to the guy. Like, they became your supplier. You bought them out. Like,
no, when I went and talked to the guy, I introduced the two of them. Initially, when I started off, I was just gonna do the business part to it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I put the contracts together. I'm like talking through different marketing ideas. I started getting us on the radio. We would go and do radio grills with Jay Nix and the Dirty Boys live on the air. Then I'd be at Streets 94.5. I started just really getting it to a lot of my celebrity friends, Rich Homie Quan, Trouble, Jacquees. And then we started learning how to make the grills from this guy. Okay. His name was Paul. And so he taught us how to do it. I really wasn't even interested in all of that. I just wanted to do the business part.
Yeah.
But I figured like I need to learn all of this just in case like, you know, somebody try to screw me. I understand what's going on, how to do it, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's how I got started, you know, from the beginning. Then it didn't work out with him. So me and my homie took the knowledge, and then we started being like, okay, we can get different teams to help us. Because doing the grills takes so much work and it takes so long. Let's put together different teams that maybe can do this while we get out in the streets and work it. And so I did that for a while. And then me and my homie fell out. And then I was back in the saddle of making the grills. And then I had me and one other guy, was a Korean guy that I was working with. And so that's, you know, it's on and on and on. But that's how I got into it.
No, that's dope, man. That's dope. Now, how do you balance all that with the music? You know what I'm saying? Because you're an entrepreneur, you're an artist. You know, how do you balance all these things you do? And how do you find inspiration for the kind of music you make? You know, how does that all tie in?
I feel like the music and the grills go hand in hand. It's like a seesaw almost. The music opened the door for me to be able to have so many relationships and do grills, and for people to be able to trust me. You know, from what I've done with the Cool Club brand, music-wise, people have worked with me, so they know, okay, this is the caliber of person I'm dealing with when it comes to doing grills.
Yeah.
So I do the music now more like spare time. The grills, it takes precedence, and I do that every day like a 9-to-5 job. But when I first started doing the grills, I remember just thinking like, man, I just want to make money every day.
Mhm.
We may have a grill or two a week, during that time. But I just kept thinking, okay, let me try to just make a little money every day. And
Yeah.
that started out $25, $50, like what can I make every day? And the mindset changed because at first I was so focused on just being creative as an artist that I wasn't focused on the money. I thought, like most artists think, the more you in the studio, the more money you'll make,
Mhm.
which is not necessarily true.
No, man, that's dope, man. So you've evolved in that. You're doing more of the music stuff now, but like, how does Atlanta? How is Atlanta and being from Atlanta and being from the East Side? All these like, how does this stuff influence? I mean, hell, it's in your name, right? Scotty ATL. Like,
Right, right,
how does
right.
that influence you, and what motivates you around that stuff?
Being from Atlanta is one of the biggest motivators because this is like the city of grind and hustle.
Hmm.
You from Atlanta, like you can feel the energy I lived in LA for like 2 years when we were like working in the Melrose location.
Yeah,
And it's so laid back, it's so chill. I love it. Don't get me wrong now. I love LA. Like go to LA, you don't want to leave,
that's the truth.
right? But when you come back to Atlanta, soon as you get off the plane, you could feel the atmosphere is different.
Hmm.
Everybody's trying to sell something. Everybody's got to hustle. Everybody, hey, 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 hey. It's like almost like New York, but in the South. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? It used to be a saying that if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. And I feel like now that's Atlanta. If you can make it in Atlanta, you can make it anywhere. But the grind and the culture, I mean, man, we at the stoplight. The other day I'm watching the guy throw up. He's juggling at the light. You know what I'm saying? It's new and improved now. It's
yeah, they
just
ain't even doing that. They
yeah,
juggling
he
now,
juggling. He got
doing
these
magic
little
tricks.
man bowling pins. I don't know what they was. He was juggling some at the light. I gave him $1 though. You know what I'm saying? Just because I was like, now man, that's pretty cool. You ain't just asking for $1. You actually creating something now where it's entertainment. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? At the stoplight. So I always think of Atlanta in that respect. Like you could do anything here. If you people sell plates out their house, people come up with drinks. You know what I'm saying? You could be nothing. You don't know nobody and just create something and have a whole business.
No, man, that's the beautiful thing about it. I told somebody before, it's like in Atlanta, if you build something authentically, if you build it in public and you do good business, Atlanta will support you.
Right.
Cause we know this is a small city, bro.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like we
Right.
know, you do the wrong person wrong, you doing bad business, it will spread around real quickly.
Facts.
But the ability to like build something and like again, build something that's kind of become a cultural staple, which is one of the things that you've done, shows kind of the kind of business that you're working on. Who would you want to do a grill for? Like who's your dream person to do a grill for if you could do one for anybody?
Oprah Winfrey.
You said that quick. You thought
Yeah,
about this before.
hands down. Yeah, yeah. Oprah Winfrey. Because for me, it's not just about, although we do a lot of celebrity grills, it's
Hmm.
not just about doing grills for celebrities.
Yeah.
For me, it's about expanding and changing the culture. And I think people who look like me sometimes get a different rap, from who we really are inside.
Hmm.
And I want to show people that you don't have to look a certain way to express how you feel on the inside by your teeth jewelry, like tattoos,
Yeah.
And so Oprah Winfrey is a great example, for me to be able to do that.
No, that would be monumental. I was gonna say like Barack Obama or somebody like that, but she came
Nah,
out. But Oprah
uh,
is okay.
yeah, Oprah Winfrey, I can see it right
That,
now in my mind. Yeah,
that's that crossover moment too, man. Like you
yeah,
do it, you do a
man,
grill for Oprah, you gonna have middle aged white women and
it's
you know
gonna
what I'm saying,
happen. It's
middle
gonna happen.
America hitting you up.
It's gonna happen, man. One day I can see it.
Now I can see it coming together, man. I can see it. Now, how do you find like inspiration for all the different kind of stuff you're working on, right? Like whether it's music or, a different kind of grill, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like is it just, you just kind of follow your hunches or are you building off of like what you're seeing around? Like what inspires you for that stuff?
I read books.
Hmm.
That's one thing that I do, and I'm really just inspired by life, daily. I always been an ambitious and driven person since I was a kid. I wanted to have something to talk about, have a story. I've been through a lot, coming up, and I know that the only way people listen to you is if you have something to say or you've proven something to a certain extent.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw that early on as a kid, you know, watching superstars like Beyonce, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, they really listen to this person because of what she's accomplished or what she's done. And so I'm really inspired to help people. I feel like that's my mission in life is to inspire the world. And so it's a daily thing, whether I'm, you know, on camera or off camera, I'm inspiring people, man, just walking on the street, you know, telling people how they did a good job at work. That's just something that I feel like I was born to do.
No, man, dope. How do you, a lot of times people throw around the word culture, and we've used it a lot even in this conversation. Like, what's your definition of culture?
My definition of culture is the vibe of what people are saying and doing together without them even knowing it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's like, for example, there's a culture moment that's happening right now in the world in regards to the Kamala.
Yeah.
You know, that was a culture moment. I feel like where people were together for something as Black people, you know. But culture, I feel like it's not just Black. You know, culture is it's urban, it's how society's moving, it's what people are paying attention to, what people are doing, what people are wearing, and it's not necessarily something that's spoken, it's just being done.
Yeah. One of my favorite definitions of culture comes from, an author I always read. He always talks about, culture is people like us do things like this.
Okay.
So it's kind of like what you just said, right? And I think about it, and that's like, honestly even one of the reasons why I started Butter ATL is because for a long time, from a culture standpoint, I got tired of people coming from outside of the culture, giving us permission to talk about our culture.
Mm.
Like, why do we need somebody from New York or LA coming
Right.
down to Atlanta and being like, so tell us about Waffle House?
Right.
What is it? What's these
Right.
lemon pepper wings y'all eating? Like, and
Right.
then they go take it back. I'm like, so in Atlanta, this is what they do. It's like, how come we can't talk? What can't we tell our own stories?
Facts.
And
Yeah.
I think we need, more people like that coming out here and saying, Atlanta can speak for itself.
Mm.
There was very much a time in which, we needed to lean on these other, like, media outlets and media cities and stuff like that to kind of give us permission. But with all the amazing stuff that's happening in Atlanta from music and entertainment and sports and business and all these other elements, like, we've earned the right to be able to talk about what we do ourselves. We don't need permission from anybody else.
Facts.
And again, you do that same kind of stuff in everything you work on, man. Now, I guess for the next thing is like, what are you gonna do next? Like, what's next? Like, are you franchising? You gonna grow this thing out? Like, what you doing next, man?
Well, I got a couple things I'm working on. Live on Edgewood TV.
Okay, tell us about that.
So that's a new TV series that I have created with 85 South. I'm the producer on that TV show.
Yeah.
New Face is a part of it. Erica Duchess is a part of it. I love it because, again, this is like another pivotal moment. I feel like I'm creating or helping to usher in where it's not just podcasts, it's TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is my opportunity to inspire people through other stories that I feel like are really great stories. So I have all type of different people on there. Big Crit been on there, Terry J. Vaughn. I've had some porn, you know what I'm saying?
All kinds of
Stars
folks.
on. Yeah. Yeah. But I'm flipping the script. So it's not just about their accomplishments. It's about what they've been through, how they got there, what inspires them,
Mm-hmm.
and their why. You know, a lot of it is about their why behind who they are. And so I'm really excited about it. We're just now wrapping up the first season.
Congratulations on that.
Appreciate it. And my goal is to long term be like a 85 South where I can tour and take this show on the road to different places.
Yeah.
As far as Grillz by Scotty goes, I do plan to have more locations all over the world at some point. Right now I'm just taking baby steps to get all my things together, you know, so that I can be as whole and healthy as a store and as a location as we need to be.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on that perspective. And on the music tip, I recently just signed with a new distribution company called CWE. Shout out to them. And this will be my first time really taking on actual, I would say, like help, where they're
Mhm.
helping me in ways that I haven't had help as an artist or as a musician. This entire time, I really just been trapping out the trunk, if you will.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that, and getting the music out to the masses and just inspiring people through the music too.
As both an entrepreneur and an artist, what is one thing you wish you would have done sooner on both of those sides?
As an entrepreneur, I wish that I would have tapped into a lot more of the resources a lot sooner. I wish I would have known more about systems and how to manage systems
Mhm.
starting out. I think if anybody hasn't started their business yet, that's definitely something to look into, managing systems, because that's a big part of you being successful. As an artist, what I wish I would have done starting out was probably, man, the artist question is a little tricky
Mhm.
because, you know, at times I think I wish I would have maybe taken like deals, that I didn't take. I've seen some of my peers take deals and blow up and have a lot of success. But I also think that not taking some of those deals wouldn't have led me to Grillz by Scotty and who I'm known as today and what I've been able to accomplish. So, yeah, I would have maybe taken more situations, but I'm kind of glad I didn't too.
No, man. That's, again, you can only connect the dots looking backwards, right? And,
Right,
and again, like you totally right. Like maybe passing up on a certain deal or on a certain situation, open up the door, down the road a little bit for another situation, right?
right.
So it all ends up working itself out in some weird way sometimes.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
though sometimes in the moment you're like, man, what the hell is going on?
Exactly, exactly. You know what I'm saying? But because I've watched a lot of my friends just blow up right, standing right next to him.
Yeah.
Trinidad James, watch K Count blow up, and a lot of other people. But now I'm in the position where I feel like when I look at my peers, I can compare myself to them and what they've been able to do on a national level with music. But I know that a few of my peers also may compare themselves to me and what I've been able to accomplish as an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
And so it's all about being grateful for what you have, for what you've been able to accomplish. That's how I look at it now.
No, for sure, man. Look, before we get out of here, man, one question I love to ask everybody is if there was a Scotty ATL billboard
Mm. There have
somewhere.
been the Scotty
Oh
ATL
yeah,
billboards
you know what? There
with an
have been
S.
with an S.
Okay.
So if you was put up a new Scotty ATL billboard,
Facts.
what would you put on it? Would it be a message, a note? Like, what would you tell people on the new
Man,
Scotty ATL billboard?
to be honest, if I put up a billboard today,
Yeah.
it's gonna have Grillz by Scotty on it for sure. But just on the, to everybody out there in the world, yeah, I would love to leave people with a message,
Hmm.
and that message is to enjoy this life, control what you can control, and for everything that you can't control, don't worry about it. It's gonna work out.
No, man, I love it, man. Scotty, look, man. Before we get out of here, how can people support you? How can they support Grills by Scotty? How can they get more information?
You can support me by following me at Scotty ATL, Scotty ATL, Grillz by Scotty, Grillz with a Z, Scotty with the S. Make sure you stop by the new store on Edgewood. If you're in LA, make sure you tap in for the private location, and make sure you download Couch Potato. It's out right now on all platforms. Blood on My Ice is one of my favorite songs on the project. And make sure you watch live on Edgewood TV.
Yo, man. Well, Scotty, man, appreciate you pulling up. Glad to see you. Glad to see you out here, man.
For
Healing
sure.
up, being healthy, still building. Again, we go back, bro.
For sure.
And again, I'm so happy for you, and can't wait to see what happens next, my guy.
No doubt, man. Thank you. And thank you for having me on the show, too.
Hey, man, for sure, absolutely. And that's the pod. We out.